What's going on, guys? We are coming to you live from the Czech Republic with a game of Star Wars Unlimited here. It's going to be Leia Cunning versus Luke Command. And on the left, we have Faith here playing Leia, plays C-3PO. When played or on attack, choose a number, then look at the top card of your deck. If its cost is the chosen number, you may reveal and draw it. He picks 3, reveals and draws a Wing Leader. Strong, very strong draw here. On the other side of things, we see the other of the iconic Star Wars droids, R2-D2, being played by Trax. Trax looks at his top card, decides to leave it on top, and then activates Luke Skywalker, Faithful Friends ability, 1 resource and exhaust to give a shield token to a heroism unit you played this phase. So we have a shielded R2 and a C-3PO on the board. Let's see how this game develops. Um, while the players are making some resource, interesting situation here. It looks like, yeah, it looks like Faith actually has 3 copies of Asteroid Sanctuary in hand there. Um, interesting situation. That's almost certainly going to be one of the cards to be resourced. You know, the resource mechanic can help when you draw too much of something, as we saw there. And the turn begins with Faith using the Wing Leader that he drew earlier, 3-cost 2/1 space unit. When played, give 2 experience tokens to another friendly Rebel unit. I think this is a really strong card. And in this situation, you know, not only is he developing his board in space, he's also buffing up his C-3PO. Admiral Akbar played on the other side of things, using the fancy hyperspace version of the card there, as you can see from the little borders and edges of the card. 3-cost 1/4 with Restore 1, so when he attacks, he heals 1 damage to the base, and when played, you may deal damage to a unit equal to the number of units you control in the arena. That's 2 right now, so that's going to be 2 damage from Admiral Akbar. On C-3PO, C-3PO hits the base for 3, and Trax opts to take the initiative rather than make an attack with R2-D2, so he will have the first action going into this next turn. Players making their resourcing decisions. While they do that, let's take a look at the heroes. So Leo Organa, Alliance General, has a action to attack with a rebel unit. Then you may attack with another rebel unit. So this is a good thing for kind of taking, you know, sort of taking the initiative in terms of getting through your turn faster and being more likely to be able to take the initiative at the end. It also lets you do some kind of combined plays that can potentially be quite useful, where you might attack with 2 small units in a row and kill a large unit before it has a chance to attack, whereas otherwise, if you attacked with one of it, you would still be able to hit your base before the second unit came in to finish it off. On the other side of things, we have Luke Skywalker, Faithful Friend, who can give a shield token to a unit you played, and he deploys at 6 resources into a very powerful fighting unit. Leia deploying at 5 resources is a less powerful unit, but does have that kind of rush dynamic, maybe. We see Admiral Akbar attacking, 1 damage to the base and restore 1 to heal. Now, both players are using the generic bases here. Asteroid Sanctuary coming out to exhaust R2 and give a shield token to C-3PO. Kind of a surprising play, in my opinion. I wouldn't have expected that. But maybe he wants to develop that shield. Kanan Jarrus comes out here. 4-cost, 4/5. On attack, you can discard 1 card from the defending player's deck for each friendly Spectre unit. Heal 1 damage from your base for each different aspect among the discarded cards. So there's only 1 friendly Spectre unit on the board right now, but it does mean that Jarrus essentially has Restore 1 in addition to the Meal effect, and Meal is kind of low impact in all likelihood, but could be relevant. C-3PO called 3 and successfully drew a Fleet Lieutenant there, put another unit on the board, and we see a Rebel Pathfinder deploying. Now, I do think this is an interesting board here. C-3PO with that shield could be sent in with the Fleet Lieutenant to take down Kanan Jarrus next turn. Is it Jarrus or Yaris? I never actually saw that show. Okay, players making resourcing decisions. This is the turn where the players are reaching 5 resources, which does mean that Leia is going to be able to deploy this turn. She is a 3/6 with raid 1, so that's +1 strength when attacking. And after she attacks, you can attack with another rebel unit. So could be relevant. I do think there's a good chance we see a Fleet Lieutenant coming in to have C-3PO take down Kanan. But Ooh, it looks like Kanan's actually going to take down the Rebel Pathfinder. Mills a card. Mills another Rebel Pathfinder, so that is a low impact card to lose. Arguably even favorable for Faith to have that milled. Okay, so now with 2 damage on Kanan, C3PO could come in and take out Kanan with 1 attack. Although it would remove his shield, we could see Agent Callus deployed. We could see Leia deployed. So Agent Callus could come in here and kill Admiral Akbar and draw a card. All right, Leia exhausts to use her ability. So first the Wing Leader hits the base for 2. And then C3PO actually going for the base. Oh, maybe not. No, C3PO is going to take down Kanan, it looks like. Yeah, that makes sense. And that was Leia's ability to attack with a rebel unit and then attack with another rebel unit. C3PO guesses 3 and hits it. It's Consortium Star Viper. This C3PO has gotten a huge amount of value from his when played and on attack ability. I think he's gone in like 4 times or something, and I think has hit 3 out of 4. So that's been a substantial card advantage for Faith. Agent Callus hits the field and kills C3PO. Another Agent Callus enters on the other side of the board, taking down Admiral Akbar. So Agent Callus has a 5-cost 4/4 ambush, and when another unique unit is defeated, you may draw a card. So this Agent Callus defeated C3PO, drawing a card, and the other Agent Callus defeated Admiral Akbar, drawing a card. R2 hits the base for 1, allowing the top card here to be seen, and it looks like Trax decides to send that top card to the bottom of the deck. 28 life to 22 life. Leia can enter the field this turn, but Luke can enter the field next turn. All right, so right now we do have Leia poised to enter the field, and the question is, when you deploy Leia, are you going to so you could kill the opponent's Agent Callus, which would then involve 4 damage to Leia, which isn't great, but it would also clean up the board. You could also just have Leia hit the base for 4. Yeah, it looks like the option is going to be the base. So Leia hits the base for 4 damage. Ability not relevant here because the other rebel units are already exhausted. I'm not sure if I would have done that versus going to try to kill the enemy Agent Callus. I'm not altogether sure. Ooh, there's a surprise strike in hand there for Faith. And that does mean that if Luke hits the field, that surprise strike can just instantly kill him. Surprise strike Leia or surprise strike from Callus both would just immediately take down Luke. This is one of the core cards, in my opinion, for the cunning aspect. Surprise strike, attack with unit gets +3/+0. Okay, so Agent Callus so the Agent Callus from Trax swings into Leia for 4 damage. Now this should actually be a card draw for the other this should actually be a card draw for Faith's Agent Callus because a unique unit, the enemy Agent Callus, was just defeated. But it looks like they're maybe missing that. So here's the question. I think you have to send Leia in, honestly. Yeah, okay. Fleet Lieutenant. Leia swings in for the base for 6, and then also sends in the Wing Leader for another 2. The base there is getting very low. Vigilance. Vigilance defeats Agent Callus and heals the base for 5. It did, however, cost 6 resources to play because it is out of aspect there with only 1 blue icon available. And then on the other side of things, so Luke is going to get a chance to deploy uncontested. We do see a rogue operative coming out, 3 cost 2/4 with Raid 2 and Saboteur. Luke will probably defeat Leia. That's exactly what we see. Second shield token onto R2D2. Okay, so let's see here. So Luke is now on the field. Luke is one of the strongest leaders in the game. 4/7 and can give another unit a shield when he attacks. R2 hits Leia's base there, looks at the top card, sends it to the bottom. Initiative has been taken by Faith, so we're going to go into this next turn. Um, could be Agent Callus making an appearance there as well. Could be interesting to see how this battle goes. Right now, I feel like Faith's Leia build has a substantial advantage. Has the initiative, has space uncontested, has on the ground. Luke Skywalker is on the field, but like Luke could just be Luke could trivially just be defeated here. Like Luke could be defeated in one attack. Like this, so this rogue operative has +2/+0 when attacking, so it could literally just be the rogue operative attacks Luke with no buffs. They trade, and then the fleet lieutenant and the wing leader are poised to attack the base. Exactly what we see. Leia's ability being used, attack with a rebel unit, then you may attack with another rebel unit. So the rogue operative defeats Luke, and the fleet lieutenant hits the base for 3. The wing leader is still poised in the space arena to add another 2 damage, or potentially more if it's buffed by something like the surprise strike that we saw earlier, or maybe the fleet lieutenant that's in hand. Could be a tough situation for it could be a tough situation for Trax here, who has a substantial disadvantage on life and on board. But we'll see what he can do. Looks like Agent Callus may be deploying here. No, it's a 6th resource there. Vigilance being used defeats the fleet lieutenant and heals the base for 5. So these vigilance plays are buying some extra time. I think we see another fleet lieutenant sends in the wing leader at +2. So fleet lieutenant's a 3 cost 3/3. When played, you may attack with a unit. If it's a rebel unit, it gets +2/+0 for this attack. So that means that wing leader is hitting for 4 damage, and we've seen huge value from this wing leader, uncontested in space, consistently hitting the enemy base for a bunch of damage, and the buff to C-3PO is very relevant. I really do think wing leader is a very strong card. And then another rogue operative hits the field. This is looking grim for Trax, but we'll see. We'll see whether he can make a comeback here. The resource. Now, one interesting thing to note is that Trax has continued resourcing beyond Faith. We'll see whether or not Faith resources another card this turn. Yeah, it looks like he's going to resource actually his copy of Agent Callus there, which is interesting. Callus has a strong card, but I think he may think, I don't need it at this point. I have 2 surprise strikes in hand. I have some other stuff. Callus on the field, taking down the rogue operative and taking 2 damage. That's not a unique unit. Won't be a card draw there. But that ambush is still going to get 4 damage off the field. Admiral Akbar appears on Leia's side. When played, you may deal damage to a unit equal to the number of units you control in its arena. With 2 ground units, he deals 2 damage to Agent Callus to defeat him. And still not looking great on the other side here for we're going to see Yoda taking the field. So Yoda has Restore 2. When this unit attacks, heal 2 damage from your base. When defeated, choose any number of players and they each draw a card. Ooh, okay. So Leia Organa, Defiant Princess, played 2 cost 2/2. When played, either ready a resource or exhaust a unit. Faith's not very concerned with the R2D2 there that's poking away at the base. So he decides to ready a resource. Then he plays his own copy of R2D2. He looks at his top card. It's another R2D2, and he sends it to the bottom of his deck. and then 2 for a surprise strike, and 6 damage to the base with the Fleet Lieutenant, then another 2 damage to the base from the Wing Leader. So now it's looking it's looking grim here for Trax. There's both other copies of Surprise Strike in hand now, and either of those could go in for +3, which means lethal is on board. I'm curious if Trax has any play that will save him here. I don't think so. So he can play the Vigilant Honor Guard, but a surprise strike from the Wing Leader will still end the game. He could play Vigilance, kill one of the Rebel units, and heal his base for 5, but I think he still gets worn down by the attacks. He could attack with Yoda to heal the base for 2 and take down Leia. That might be his best play. So we do see the Vigilant Honor Guards coming down here. 5 cost 4/6. Well, it's undamaged against Sentinel. Big obstacle in the ground arena, but it's not going to save the day here for Trax because a surprise strike with the Wing Leader just wins the game immediately. 5 damage right there, and that's exactly what we see. A surprise strike, attack with a unit, it gets +3/+0. The Wing Leader hits the base for 5, and that is game. So this Leia deck had got a lot of kind of smaller units onto the board, had some good card advantage from C3PO, and was able to overwhelm Trax here. Even though Trax had some stronger stuff coming out towards the end, this ground arena here honestly probably favors Trax. He has the double shielded R2. He has Yoda to do some damage and heal. He has the Vigilant Honor Guards to block at least one attack and do a bunch of damage in return. So this is not bad, but he was so low on life from the earlier game, even playing those copies of Vigilance, that it didn't altogether pan out. And then the Wing Leader here, so Trax not putting any unit out in space meant that this Wing Leader just got massive value. We see here that he resourced a Restored Arc. I actually think this Restored Arc might have been really good to deploy, just because first off, it trades favorably against the Wing Leader, and then the Restore 1 could add a lot of value in keeping the base alive. But ultimately, that's not how it went, and Faith's Leia build was victorious in this game. All right. So yeah, guys, that was a quick game of Star Wars Legion broadcast, or Star Wars Legion, a game of Star Wars Unlimited broadcasted here from the Czech Republic. Thanks to you guys for watching this, and we will be back later with some more Star Wars Unlimited content.